Saqib, are you there?
Yes, I'm.
Okay.
Hello?
Let's start. Good afternoon and Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Harshit Agrawal from the product team at Frappitech. In today's webinar, we will be showcasing how you can make ERPNext financially compliant as per your country's statutory requirements. The localization carried out can be submitted as a different application over our Fabric Cloud Marketplace. And you can reach out to me if there is any help required during this process. Before we get started, just a little housekeeping. To maintain the clarity of speech, please keep yourselves on mute for the whole session. If you have any questions or suggestions, please use chat box. And after every presentation, we'll have a buffer period to answer your questions. Okay. Yeah, so let's get started. Let's welcome Saqib from ERPNext team explaining the guidelines and steps. Saqib?
Yeah, hi everyone.
Good afternoon, Saqib.
Good afternoon. Should we start recording or?
The recording is in progress.
Okay.
You can get started.
I will just share my screen and. So is my screen visible now?
Yes, Saqib.
Okay. Hello, I am Saqib Ansari, working as a product developer at ERPNext. This presentation will go through all the steps needed to create a regional app which for ERPNext, which can help you localize ERPNext basically. So I will go through each component which are involved in a regional app by taking an example of Indian app, Indian regional features and KSA regional features, which we have developed, and also with the help of community. So these are the basic, these are the only components required to handle any custom regional changes for any countries. So I will be going one by one how to create and what are the best practices to do so. Let's start with the setup. So everything starts with setup. Here this is a entry point of any app basically. So as you can see, all the fixtures, custom fields, reports, print formats, and permissions are basically imported and created right here. So I will be going one by one of all these 4 steps. So importing fixtures. What are fixtures? Like fixtures are documents which are to be pre-configured or bootstrapped before for any specific country. For example, in India, we bootstrap HSN codes and GST accounts, GST settings, tax categories, a lot of documents basically. So all of these are custom doc types for which is specific to the region itself. So HSN code is specific to India here. And these are just JSON files, a large dump of all the documents which you use, basically, with all the fields and etc. So this step can also involve importing of chart of accounts, like specific accounts which are needed uh, for the regional app. So yeah, this is the first step. You import all the fixtures. Then you go on creating custom fields. For example, you we in the Indian region, we add GSTINs and then PAN, other fields in addresses, address, customer, supplier. All those fields are just custom fields. This custom fields is again a dump of all the documents, extra fields or custom field documents, basically. This is also a large JSON file separated out via the doc types. For example, for customers, there are 5 to 10 fields, then the same for supplier, and then sales invoice, etc. So all those things happen here right at the setup. And yeah, framework also provides a simple method, create custom fields to import all those fields. Then, so there's 2 steps. I will come back to it later once we create a report and print formats. So this mainly these 2 steps are to give permissions at the time of setups, and this depends based on the region. So I will come back to this later. Then these are custom actions. So I will take an example of e-invoicing in India. For example, we need to add a custom button in sales invoice form at the top of the sales invoice form to generate IRN, basically. And this generate IRN button is will basically generate IRN, and it should only be shown to specific invoices, right? So all this configuration are custom to the Indian region only. So we create a file. If you can see the path, like Indian compliance is the app, and then you go on creating in the public folder sales invoice.js. So this file will only add regional specific buttons and configurations on the form itself. So yeah, this is used to basically add custom buttons and run extra form validations, etc. So here in Indian invoicing, we have here we call the APIs, get the QR code and IRNs from the portal, GST portal, make an API call to the portal, and then it is saved in the form, and yeah, that's the basic process. So, and then you can also add custom buttons to list views also. So this is a use case of generating a lot of IRNs at once from the list view itself. So you will select 20 sales invoices and then use this button to generate IRNs in bulk. So yeah, then hooking all this to a script. So hooks.py is the file which hooks all these scripts, or all the what do you say, the setup method and then custom buttons, JS, etc. So these 2 are the variables you can. So basically the setup has to happen after install. So once the app is installed, the setup method which I showed in the first step will be run, and then all the fixtures and custom fields will be installed once the app is installed. And then this doc type _js, this will link to specific forms. Like if you want to add custom buttons to sales invoice, then you can create a file for the sales invoice, put in custom JS code, client scripts, and then hook it into the hooks.py. Same can be done for every other form and list views. Then print formats are very simple. There is no change There is no there is no change, except you just create a new print format from the UI itself, from the framework itself, and then go on creating and then add the HTML and everything. But just make sure to pick the correct module. The module will be the application itself. So this is a example of GST invoice. Here only the HTML is written. This is custom HTML basically. Yeah. Do note that this is by default disabled, and it will be enabled with the on the setup part. I will explain that. The same can be said for the report also. This is also a report which is used in which was created while creating the e-invoicing for India. Here also there are no permissions given by default, and the module itself is the application. So the code for this report will obviously be in the report .py file, exactly the same as other reports like general ledger and etc. It will be the same. There is no other. Then adding permissions to those reports and enabling them happens at the setup part. Like for example, you don't want to. So up until now, all the regional changes are in the ERPNext itself. So all these reports and print formats need not be enabled for all customers. So this enabling and adding permissions to these specific reports and print formats only happens for if the company belongs to that region, basically. So these methods will check if the company is India, only then they will enable the reports and print formats. Or you could go one more step deeper. Let's say only if e-invoicing is enabled, there will be a invoice settings basically. And if it is enabled, only then all the reports and print formats will be enabled. So yeah. Then hooks.py, this is basically used for to add custom scripts to run custom scripts on basically any event of the doc type. This is heavily used for all the regional apps, even for KSA and Indian. So for example, creating for KSA invoicing, QR code is created on the submission of sales invoice. So hooks.py helps to do that without changing anything in the core. Then for Indian invoicing, we validate if the sales invoice is eligible, and then IRN, ensuring that IRN is cancelled before cancelling the invoice. All these can be done using hooks.py, like attaching custom methods to custom events of the document. Not custom events, or standard events for the. Yes, so this is what it looks like for sales invoice on update, we validate if the change should be done or not, or submission, cancellation and deletion basically. And then you also have this overrides, regional overrides. This is not, I think, used heavily for even India also. Like this is a specific use cases. Let's say you have to override a method from the core ERPNext and use your custom method. So you will do this via hooks. You just namespaces with India, like for India. Now this method will be overwritten. So ERPNext.taxes and totals and update itemized tax data. This will be overwritten with your app method, basically, whatever you have. Yeah. This, and then yeah, these are the only things needed for the to develop a full-fledged like regional app, basically. So everything that KSA region has put in the core, all of those, just use these 4-5 features or 4-5 components to build everything. Yeah. I hope I didn't go very fast with this.
Okay. Thanks, Saqib. Thanks for your explanation. However, there are few questions like, for example, if this application has to be submitted, where will it be listed on? Like, will it be listed on Frappe Cloud Marketplace or somewhere else?
So first, you will be creating your the app on your on your GitHub account itself, and then yeah, it will basically be hosted on Frappe Cloud Marketplace, and you could also have like a tutorial to how to install and get started with your app and make it working in the README, and then I think everyone can follow that guide to install it. So not necessarily on FC Marketplace, but yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Okay. In Turkey, we have already developed a lot of customizations regarding the Turkish counting system and other requirements, but we have separated them as individual applications which reside on GitHub already, and we are already developing something today, and it is going on. So should we merge or make compatible with your guidelines if we need to take these demonstration as a guideline for any future compatibility, or can we leave them as they are, as separate applications that the user may install whenever it's needed?
So these steps which I presented, I kept in mind that this will be a separate app itself. Like, for example, if we were to create Indian compliance app, a separate app, so we will be removing all the changes from the core and then moving it into the application itself. So if you have already developed a custom app for Turkish taxation, then yeah, it's perfectly fine.
Is your question answered?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Saqib, there is another question from Deepak Thapa in the chat.
Okay, great. So is the last one, right? For Nepal, you have created 80% IRD related
Yes.
Yes. Is this an application, or are you planning to raise a PR on ERPNext itself? I couldn't make from the about chart of accounts. It's really difficult to answer anything because without seeing what is the problem itself. I think a lot of confusion is around how to import chart of accounts, I think.
Oh, okay. Saqib, there is one more question from my end. Like, let's assume that I'm creating an application for my country. Should I also include the chart of accounts inside that? Because like ERPNext already handles that. So should I be adding another set of like another template of chart of accounts, or should I use the existing one?
So if chart of accounts exists in ERPNext, then probably adding another one or modifying that will be better. But if it doesn't exist, then it could be under the customer.
So I can answer this one. So if people who have already contributed the chart of accounts earlier, they know, like, we have a verified folder where once the chart of accounts are verified, under that folder we usually add the JSON file of the chart of accounts. So the basic template will still remain the same. Anyone who wishes to contribute any regional chart of accounts, so that will still go there. If there are any specific, like, accounts based on taxation where they want to create separate tax templates, then that could be a part of the regional application. Else, I mean, since the chart of account setup is done whenever you during that standard ERPNext setup screen, right, when you select your region and enter your details, so that still has to be a part of the code. Any specific accounts, if you want to add later to the chart of accounts, that could be a part of the regional application. But the basic where you have your basic account heads, asset, liability, income, expense, and equity, all those major account heads will still be in the code. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Deepesh. So Saqib and Deepesh, by the way, Deepesh is again from ERPNext team. Hi, Deepesh. There's this another article which I read, which mentioned that we have done some localization using our partner's help from KSA for KSA region, right? Can you highlight some parts of it, like what happened, what was the process, and how did community helped in getting that merged inside ERPNext?
So the major reason for reaching out to partners were, like, since they are working on the ground, so they were better aware of the compliances that had to be followed to make ERPNext fully compliant. So that was the first reason. So the first step was they did their research on their end, like what all steps were necessary and what type of compliances had to be added as a phase one requirement for the KSA invoicing, which was basically adding the generation of the QR codes and a few KSA VAT reporting. So that was done by them. As a phase one, we added this to ERPNext core itself, more or less via the methods and hooks that Saqib implementation. So that was done by them. And on top of that, if there are any issues or improvements, that we are taking care of.
Okay. Thanks for your answer, Deepesh. Are there any other questions?
May I ask another one again?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Is there any kind of a roadmap that there will be localizations in a central, let's say, distribution for ERPNext, which users may immediately implement according to general regulations before making their own customizations, or is this just an advice session?
Ashit, you want to answer this as a...
No, please go ahead.
I'm sorry, I lost it. Can you please come again? I'll try and take it.
Hello.
Yes. Did you get my question?
No, Tufan. Can you please repeat it?
Sorry for that. Is there some kind of a roadmap regarding the country customizations, or is this some kind of an advisory session that is, I mean, somehow bringing these customizations in a, let's say, more or less compatible level within themselves?
So this is certainly a webinar which is focused at enabling community to contribute to localizations at themselves. Because as Saqib mentioned that you guys understand localizations best, right? What is needed in your country, what text accounts needs to be created, what text templates are required, which text reporting are needed at the end of the month or quarter to be filed with the government, right? So you understand all those localization requirement best. So while we are giving you platform, we are also trying to share the knowledge as to how you can use Frappe and ERPNext and Frappe app, which can be published on marketplace, so that you can develop the localization for your country and then contribute it on Frappe marketplace.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And also to add to Umer's point, like if there is any help required from us, as in Frappe, you can always reach out to us regarding review of code, or whether you have managed to satisfy all the guidelines mentioned by us. We can surely help you. Saqib, Keval Vagia has asked you a question. So Keval, I guess Saqib is not available. Deepesh, like, can you update Keval on what progress we are making when it comes for the Indian statutory requirements?
Okay, so I'll take it. We already have GST India built in with lots of reports coming out of the box. And even when you set up an account for Indian country, lots of text accounts and text templates are automatically configured. Now since we want to basically go Frappe marketplace way, we are kind of porting all these localization and regional customization which is available in app to Frappe marketplace. We already have one of our partner, community partner, who's already working on porting all this in built-in GST localization for Indian customers to a separate applications, and it's been worked upon already. Once that is open, and it will be open source, I think. So once that is there out, it's out there, maybe you can consider contributing to that application. That will be one good way for you to start, contributing towards localization. So Sujan, this session is being recorded and also live streamed. So you can easily find it on YouTube. The link has already been published on Discuss Forum.
Hey Umer, hi, this is Amit. A couple of times Frappe Marketplace was mentioned. Is there a plan to have a separate session? I'm not sure how many folks out here know the initiative around Frappe Marketplace and how to publish an app. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So
last session was about it, Amit, which was conducted by Hussein. So again, there's a Discuss post about it with a link on YouTube, which in very detail explains how you can basically get an app from marketplace and how you can have your app published on the marketplace as well. So maybe if someone from Frappe team can post the link. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Palkan has done it. Super. Thanks a lot.
So Nitesh, we have a Discuss forum wherein you can post your queries if you are working on localization and you need any support. There's a very active community of developers and consultants, accounting experts who are helping each other make applications. So you can post your queries there. We all on the Frappe Cloud Marketplace. We already have some regional customizations and localization already being contributed, like for Switzerland, Austria. and other countries. So we are already on that path. It's good opportunity for developers specifically to build localization for your country and have the users who would install your applications if it's for their country, and attract more users.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, it's nice to be connected with you after I think 3 or 4 years. Basically, we started chatting on this ERPNext back on 2018, and from that period, I have been following and yes, been trying to configure this with the developing team from one of the Indian companies also. Maybe should be the partner of ERPNext also. And yes, my query, since I'm not a technical person, I'm just a finance guy. So my query is here: how should we get things started? Because the person we are dealing with, or the developers we are dealing with, are not the local country person, and we have to justify. We have to give more explanation. So since you have already may have done so many requirement completion for many of the countries. So what should be the process in the starting phase, and how things should be in the flow?
Thanks for elaborating, Nitesh, and thanks for the kind words. So if basically you have a requirement and you're looking for a developer to whom you are ready to sponsor, it's pretty simple. If you can find one, that's okay. If not, then we have host of community members and developers who has done some development, like the regional KSA development. The invoicing was introduced in Saudi Arab, right? So we had a community member who basically made that application and contributed, which was supported by our team. So if you're looking for a community developer, you can maybe give us a heads up and we'll help you find one, align you with a developer with whom like you can share knowledge, sponsor, and have that app developed. Hope that answers your question. So at Frappe, we are also like looking forward to do lots of implementations with partners, and so that we can stay focused on the core products. Same way, we have opened up the Frappe marketplace way, so that regional localization and things can also be contributed by community members. So that there is a very well-defined path for community members to participate, contribute, and have active users for their applications.
Okay. Deepesh, if you want to get started and start contributing for the OHADA chart of accounts, please go ahead. And And if there's any help required, as I mentioned, you can always like post everything over discuss. And I guess our community will be very helpful and will help you. Okay. Okay, since there are no questions, awesome. Thank you, everyone. As always, I appreciate you being over here. I would recommend again to subscribe to our monthly newsletters to know more about the insights we have been working on and more learn about Frappe as a company. You can subscribe to our newsletter from the link below. I'm posting it in the chat. And you, in order, if you want to again refer to this webinar, we have already posted it. It will be live within 1 or 2 hours. And to effectively learn more about ERPNext and Frappe framework in more of an organized way, refer to our new platform, Frappe School. To enroll, you can use frappe.school, or you can simply Google Frappe School. Thanks again for joining us today. See you next time.